How to face fear and doubt with calm. Have you ever been afraid to take an important step in your life because you were worried about failing? Maybe it was the job opportunity you'd been dreaming about for years, the chance to start your own business, or simply telling someone you care about how you really feel. Deep down, you knew that step could open new doors, but the shadow of failure stood tall in your path, blocking the way. Or perhaps you've doubted your own abilities so much that you chose to do nothing at all. That quiet voice of doubt, subtle yet persistent, keeps you stuck where you are. It fills your mind with endless what-ifs. What if I'm not good enough? What if people laugh at me? What if everything goes wrong? Without realizing it, you stay in your comfort zone while opportunities pass by outside its walls. Fear and doubt are natural parts of life. We can't completely erase them. They will always show up whenever we face uncertainty. But Stoicism teaches us something powerful. Calm doesn't come from forcing fear away, but from learning to face it with a clear mind, a steady heart, and deliberate action. Today, let's explore 6 Stoic principles to help you deal with fear and doubt calmly, so you can keep moving forward even when your heart is trembling, and prove to yourself that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it.
Recognize that fear is part of life. Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus believed that fear isn't an enemy to destroy, but a natural signal from your mind and body. Just as physical pain warns us of injury, fear signals potential risk. The problem isn't fear itself, but how we overreact or misinterpret its signal. When we see fear as something to run from, we let it control our lives. But when we accept fear as part of the human experience, its intensity drops. In Stoicism, acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means acknowledging fear's presence without letting it dictate our choices. Example 1. You're about to give a presentation. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your mind blurs. Instead of forcing the fear away, you tell yourself, "This is my body preparing me to focus. This energy can help me perform better." By reframing it, you turn tension into fuel. Example 2. Before a job interview, thoughts like, "What if I mess up?" or "What if they don't like me?" cloud your mind. Instead, you remind yourself, "One interview doesn't define my whole future. It's just part of the journey." The fear becomes manageable, and you walk in with clearer focus. 2. Focus on what you can control. One of Stoicism's core teachings is the dichotomy of control, knowing the difference between what's in your hands and what isn't. Epictetus taught that most emotional suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Fear and doubt often grow when we obsess over outcomes we can't fully decide. Instead, focus on your actions, choices, and attitude. These are always yours to command. Example 1. You're afraid of failing an exam. Your mind pictures bad grades, embarrassment, or disappointment. But instead of dwelling on possible failure, you invest your energy in a solid study schedule, effective revision methods, and practice questions. Example 2. You want to start a business, but the market feels unstable. Instead of worrying about the economy, which you can't control, you concentrate on creating a strong business plan, managing your budget wisely, and building a reliable network. By steering your focus, you become like a sailor in rough seas. You can't control the wind or waves, but you can always adjust your sails. 3. Challenge negative thoughts with reason.
Fear often comes not from reality, but from the exaggerated stories we tell ourselves. Our minds tend to overestimate danger and assume the worst. Marcus Aurelius advised examining our own thoughts like a judge assessing evidence before accepting them as truth. When fear appears, ask, is this fact or just assumption? This simple question can dissolve much of fear's power. Example 1. You fear your boss will be furious about your report. Your mind plays scenes of harsh criticism. But when you review the facts, solid data, logical points, and only minor errors, you realize the worst-case scenario is unlikely. Example 2. You want to try painting or writing, but worry people will laugh. You pause and ask yourself, will people actually care, or is this just my anxiety talking? You realize most people are too busy living their own lives, and some might even admire your courage to try. By using reason, you wipe away the dust from the window, seeing that the world isn't as terrifying as it seemed. 5. Take small but consistent steps. A common mistake is thinking we must tackle fear in one giant leap. Stoicism values steady progress, breaking challenges into manageable steps so you can adapt without being overwhelmed. Example 1. You're afraid of water but want to learn to swim. Instead of jumping into the deep end, you start by dipping your feet in. Then you practice kicking at the shallow edge. Later, you use a flotation device to practice breathing and floating. Eventually, deep water no longer feels impossible. Example 2. You want to post content online but fear criticism. You start with a simple photo or short paragraph. Then you try short videos, slowly increasing complexity as confidence builds. Months later, you've gained both skill and a supportive audience. Small steps build habits, and habits build resilience. 5. Accept the possibility of failure and see its value. To the Stoics, failure isn't the enemy, it's a teacher in disguise. Fear often lingers because we resist the idea that things might not go our way. But if we embrace the possibility of failure, we loosen fear's grip. Example 1. You enter a writing competition and pour weeks into your piece. You don't win, but the judges' feedback reveal weaknesses you hadn't noticed. Using their advice, your next work earns high praise. Example 2. You lead a promising work project, but the client pulls out halfway through. While frustrating, the review process reveals flaws in time management that you fix, leading future projects to run more smoothly. For the Stoic, a failure is just an outcome we didn't expect. If we learn from it, it becomes a stepping stone, not a dead end.
Closing thoughts. Fear and doubt will always be part of life. They don't mean you're weak. They mean you care about what's at stake. Stoicism teaches that true calm comes not from erasing fear, but from learning with it, preparing through it,
and acting in spite of it. Think about it. How many opportunities might you miss if you wait for fear to vanish completely? The truth is, it may never disappear, but you don't have to wait for perfect conditions to begin. Every small step you take in the presence of fear is a victory. And like a muscle, courage grows stronger each time you use it. So, have you ever faced a moment when fear and doubt felt overwhelming, but you acted anyway, only to discover it wasn't as bad as you thought? Maybe it even opened a door you didn't know was there. Share your story. You never know whose courage you might spark.